Do you feel the vibes?
To another Golden Rods farming video. Today I'm going to go over the light leather shuffle. I don't use leather shuffles all that much unless if it's the corium, or not corium, the not hide Borean or whatever the Wrath of the Lich King leather is, and savage leather. I'll usually turn these into, at least savage leather, I'll turn into the pristine hides, which I will be going over in a separate video, but the light leather shuffle is probably my favorite leather shuffle, aside from the other three where you can get the heavy forms of the leathers. There is only one recipe that you'll really be crafting, and that's the embossed leather gloves. I checked the others to see if there wasn't another piece of gear that might be a little bit better, but they're all fairly expensive. So I just went ahead and we're going to do the embossed leather gloves. I spent 1 gold per leather, which will bring the cost of the crafting gear up to 3 gold, which is a little bit more than what I usually spend on shuffles. But because it's leather, you're not going to find any that's cheap enough that will match your cloth shuffles. That's one of the reasons why I usually pair tailoring with enchanting, is because it's the most profitable for manipulating the raw material. There are a few good farming locations for light leather. One of the most famous ones is the one in wetlands, where a lot of people will usually try to farm for the crimson whelpling, which is a world drop, and I farmed there for hours, not really for the pet, but just the linen cloth and other drops that I might be able to get, and I had never seen the pet. But it is really good for light leather, linen cloth, and medium leather. I do believe you can get a decent amount of wool cloth there as well. Another good place to farm light leather will be there's actually two. If you're Alliance, my favorite spot for light leather is here in Duskwood. I will usually just run across the top of the area and kill all the bears and wolves that spawn up here. If you are a horde character, then my favorite spot will be, I believe it's around this island, or this set of mountains right here. The raptors that spawn there can drop from anywhere from 1 to 3 white leather, and I will usually run into the middle, kill all of those, skin them, then run around. And by the time I do that, all the ones in the middle have already respawned, so it's a really good spot to power level as well. Once you get the gear crafted, you will send it over to your disenchanter, unless if you are already on it. farming the Whaling Caverns, I've also gotten a lot of light leather. I've done, I believe, around 50 runs so far. And with doing the shuffle, that means I should be able to make a decent amount more gold from Whaling Caverns, which I can't complain too much about the gold I've already made just from the transmog items. Usually, if I make a decent amount of gold from other raw materials or transmog, I don't worry too much about the shuffles just because I've already accomplished my goal for making gold. And to maximize my profit even more, it seems a little redundant. However, if you wish to run Whaling Caverns quite a bit, you can probably do an hour's worth, which should be a lockout. I think you can get around 2.5 stacks of light leather. You could probably make around 5k extra gold off of doing the light leather shuffle. A lot of times what I'll do with my leather is I will just hold on to it and put it in my bank and decide whether or not I want to do a shuffle, because a lot of the items that you can craft usually take a healthy amount of leather to craft, so it is a little bit more expensive as opposed to doing something like a cloth shuffle. And depending on my mood, I will look at the amount of leather I have and decide whether or not to do a shuffle from there or not. So it looks like I crafted 30 of the gloves, which will give me a total of 90 gold spent towards this shuffle. We can now look and see how much I will actually make from it. I've already got 100 strange dust in my inventory. And it already looks like we're not off to too bad of a start. The biggest thing with shuffles is they are just really time consuming. And a lot of people don't necessarily like doing them because you're not doing a whole lot other than hitting a button and disenchanting or you're waiting a lot for the items to finish crafting. I do believe that's about the main reason why shuffles are so valuable. Here in a few days, maybe a week or so when I get more time, because right now we are short on people at the job I work at, so I'm working quite a few hours. And on the blog I work for, we're also short on people, which it looks like we're starting to get a few more people, at least for the, I guess you can say, real job I work at. So that should mean I won't have to work there as much, giving me more time at home to work more on my YouTube videos. I really hope to start live streaming, and the main series I will be live streaming will be my leveling guide. The guide is going to cover how to start a new server and make loads of gold. At first I was just doing this for fun because I was bored of just farming regularly and doing all my shuffles and all of that, so I decided that I would start new characters on a new server and just level them. Then it started to turn into a guide, and a lot of my characters on the first server I tried ended up getting around 2.5 to 5k the first 20 levels, which I thought that was really good. Right now I only have the horde characters for it. I believe it's just the Taurns, Orcs, and Trolls. And I do plan on going over every race and all the factions and everything. So it'll take quite a bit of time, but the slower I work on it, the longer it will take. I believe that is all for this video. I was able to get 42 strange dust, which was around 230 gold. So I did make a decent profit off of it. Not a large one, but a large enough one to be able to use it for a steady amount of gold. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content.